Hi guys, welcome back. All right, let's get into this. It's going to be a single storyline. I was going to do a few other zodiacs tonight, but I think I'm going to wrap this up and get an early start tomorrow after this. But it is Friday, so we needed a single storyline. I only read this deck in the upright no matter what, because it is an oracle deck. So we start out with Into the Unknown. This could be an exciting new step. We could have a character doing something brave, something they've not done before, walking into a party, a room, an event, and they're like, oh my God, here I go. I don't know what to expect here. I'm out of my comfort zone, but maybe, it's just close my eyes and pray or something. Hi guys, great to see everyone. This feels like our character is willing to take a risk. This could be a blind date. You notice that this person has a blindfold on. This could also be somebody who's just like going to something that they don't even know what they signed up for. They don't know what they said yes to, but here they are, here they go. Okay, we just got technically two decks, so we'll have to use them both because they both want to be here. Since she's got kind of some feathers going on, part of her headdress and around her neck, I feel like we should go with a really lovely, carnival deck. We have the Ace of Cups. It is sideways. This is not a character who is assuming that they're going to go out and find love. This is not even something that the character is saying, oh, I'm so excited to go to this. This feels like a character is just being really brave. They're putting their trust in the divine since this is card 7, but they're like, you know what? Jesus take the wheel, or whatever thing they want to shout out, where they're just like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I just know I'm going to give this a whirl because I kind of feel like I should. Maybe I need to mix it up. I've been feeling kind of dull. I've been feeling kind of like, with the 5 of Pentacles says, I haven't had fun in a while. I've been missing out on a good time. This could be somebody whose life has been very serious. And even if they're like, tremendously wonderful, mother, father figure, they're great at taking care of others. When it comes to their own needs, I don't think this character's needs have been met in a long time. Maybe adult conversation, personal companionship, those types of things. I feel like our character has a very rich life, but when it comes to their personal needs being met, that hasn't happened in a while. And this is them taking a gamble, taking a risk. Where are you going, character? I mean, maybe this is just the encouragement for a character to go ahead and, I'm hearing Abba, take a chance on me. Ali Ali oxen free. We get the 4 of Wands. Where are they going? It could be to some like other person's wedding. This could be to a family affair. This could be, this is obviously, it's a very stable environment. It feels celebratory. It feels like somebody's getting invited to, maybe it's an anniversary party. Maybe it's a wedding. Maybe it's just a big event. This could be a cultural event as well, where someone is like, oh, this is like strong bonds. This is like the roots of a community coming together in celebration of something in particular. But I'm picturing this could be like quite a lovely celebration. I want to go. That looks really nice. I love the feathers. This just feels like our character is all about, I'm not sure what to expect. Maybe I won't know anybody there except one person who's invited me to their family event, their cultural event, their heritage, whatever it is. But yeah, I think I'll go. I need some light in my life. I need levity. I need to be around, a strong group of people. This is fabulous because I feel like this is how our character meets somebody quite fabulous. We have an emperor here. We go from, I'm walking into the unknown. I don't know what I'm going to expect to find. I don't even know if I'm going to have a good time. I feel like a fish out of water. I feel like I know I should do this, but I'm not really expecting anything other than, to like bear witness to like a really great party that other people are enjoying, but I'll probably feel like the outsider. I do not think that's going to be the case with the emperor showing up here. I love this story because it really reminds our characters that they got to get out there and do things. If you want to meet other human beings, you have to go where human beings are. You got to interact. It's just, we've got judgment card too. They could either unexpectedly meet someone that shockingly they could have already known, and this is a chance for reconciliation, or they meet somebody brand new and it gives our character, you notice that they're kind of like in prayer here. it almost feels like this could be a very like, oh my God, I realized I was meant to be here. Universe, I will always trust you from here on out. I almost didn't go to this event. I wasn't sure if I should go. And now I realized like this was my opportunity to like let go of my past and just embrace, new opportunities, meeting somebody wonderful, somebody new. Look, it doesn't mean that this is love at first sight, but we can definitely see that our character is meeting someone of high value, high quality. And I'm always going to be incredibly high value, high quality. Anyway, let's break it down and let's say even if this weren't about love, networking. This is an opportunity to go to an event, meet lots of awesome people that already have, a network, a friendship. Sometimes it takes a couple of times to meet people and then you know them in the community and then you bump into them again and now you're not a stranger, and then bit by bit you develop friendships, and bit by bit you start to like connect with people, you start hanging out with people, and your network of who you know expands, and great people that you've just inducted into your group of friends, it keeps kind of snowballing, and pretty soon your old life where it was kind of lonely and you didn't have adult conversation is gone because now you have a group of newfound friends, high quality people. It could just be that. It could also be business networks. Sometimes the emperor can be a boss, it can also be a father figure. But I'm going to say, because this is a singles storyline, so it is kind of centered on what's going on in a single person's life. Here's what I feel like we have. We have a character who's used to being alone. They could be everybody's favorite auntie or uncle. They could be the person who babysits, because it's like, oh yeah, it's another evening and I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have anyone to hang out with. So sure, yeah, you drop the kids off, I'll babysit. Or this is a parent who's been, like maybe rocking the single parent role for a while, but they are missing connection and they get invited to an event. And I feel like they're brave enough to go. Not expecting this to be wonderful, just expecting to be a spectator to other people's happy life. But at least it's going to, shake up their whatever, their Tuesday night or their Friday night or something. So they go, but I think it has much bigger implications. I feel like this is very divine. I feel like it could even be that this emperor was thinking along the same lines. Oh man, I'm going to go to this event, going to show up alone, going to leave alone. This could be what they've both been hoping and praying for, is to meet somebody, but not really knowing how. Well, this feels like a very safe environment. This does not feel like people going out, like partying. Not that has to be unsafe, right? Going out, having a good time. There's nothing in the world wrong with that. But this feels so family oriented. This feels like it's definitely people who already know each other. And this is some kind of an event that they've, here's that Fool card again, going into the unknown, that leap of faith. This time we have more of the masculine energy. In the beginning, we had the feminine energy. This could be the same card, practically, just because into the unknown, taking the leap of faith, and then the Fool, that's exactly what the Fool is, only of course is card 0 out of the tarot. I feel like he is doing something a little bit brave too. Tell me his story. We've got the Page of Wands sideways. He does not expect to go meet anybody that he's going to be attracted to. He does not expect to meet somebody that he could see long-term potential, because this Page of Wands is interesting because if you notice, if you look past him, we actually have a 4 of Wands that is kind of like unfurling in the distance behind him. But this card is sideways. It's like, yeah. At best, maybe there will be mildly intriguing people to meet there, but I'm not expecting that. In fact, with the 4 of Cups, he could kind of have been pining for like, God, I would like to be anywhere else but here tonight. I'm really not that interested, but I'm going to show up, but I am not expecting much. This is an illusion. I am 4 of Swords. He would rather be at home taking a nap. He might have promised himself he was going to put in an appearance and then he's going to go home at like 7:15. He's going to get there at 7. He's going to leave at 7:15 and go to bed. This feels like he is so like going to be surprised. Oh God, look at this. He was going to sneak away. I just had this image of somebody pretending to be sick just so they could leave. I'm not feeling well. Ugh, I got the bubble tummy. I got to go home. And it's like, no, you don't have the bubble tummy. You're just fine. He was planning a lie, dipping out. Oh my gosh. Emperors don't usually play the bubble tummy card. I don't know if everybody else calls it the bubble tummy, but um, that's what I'm calling it. We got the Palace of Coins and the Four of Wands. This would never have been on his mind. And I feel like attending this event, fully intending to dip out, I think it's like he does a 180. He's not dipping out. Palace of Coins is like, whoa, I want to plant myself right here. I'm not, no, I feel fine. I'm not going home. This feels pretty comfortable right here. I'm picturing him like finding a comfortable seat, sitting, watching. He already knows that there's something more important here. That Four of Wands. This is, I don't know if when he walks in, he spots her. He may see her before she sees him, since she's kind of blindfolded and she's kind of fumbling, not sure about herself. She could be out on a patio at first and then walk back into the room, the house, the building. It's something about walking through the door. And I do feel like this is going to be like, there's like light around her. I'm hearing that song, Beyonce, I Can See Your Halo. I don't know if there's something that immediately catches his attention, but remember, he was like, there's not going to be anybody that I want to talk to. I'm not going there to flirt. Not going there to meet anyone. And I already said, yeah, but there's this interesting Four of Wands behind this. There's that Four of Wands card. This is so unexpected. This is so unexpected, but it's all because two people go ahead and they take that leap to say, I'll just go. It's out of my comfort zone, but I'll just do this. We have the Palace of Wands, which is the heart space, and we have the World card, brand new beginnings. This is all still his story. It's like, whoa, I did not expect my heart to open up. I did not expect to feel differently. And if you look closely, this is actually that same Fool card, only smack dab in the middle, right? In the same outfit, balancing on the ball with the kitten between the feet. There it is. So smack dab in the middle. And of course, the World card is kind of like, we can look at it as the alpha and the omega, right? The beginning and the end. Ending one chapter, starting a new chapter. He already did the brave thing, walking into the unknown. This is the culmination of when you do something kind of brave, when you do something that's like, look, I'll give this a chance. I mean, I don't expect anything, but whatever, I'll just be brave. It's sometimes that first step toward bravery is what brings us full circle into the next chapter of our life. And that's what it looks like has happened for him. That World card says his life is not going to be the same after this. So a simple action, simply attending somebody's dinner party, somebody's barbecue, attending somebody's, whatever celebratory party it is, that is life-changing. I don't think that this is like a group of friends going out and then bumping into another, unknown group. I feel like this is a confined, like everyone's attending this one event. Everybody who's coming was invited by someone that they know. So there are like already a web or a networking of people that know each other, but they haven't all met. If you have whatever, a big family and they have extended family members and they have extra friends that are coming to town. And so a bunch of people wind up getting invited. We could have like a core group that knows each other and then all these extraneous people that are not necessarily known to anyone else at the party. And I feel like that's what the scenario is. So it is a specific kind of like attendance. It is, like I've been invited to people's weddings that I only knew the one person who invited me, and it was like 700 people, and it was this crazy party. And I've definitely, of course I'm gonna go. That sounds awesome. And it was a really good time, but I didn't know a soul other than the one person who had invited me. That kind of stuff. Sometimes you just do it and it's just a nice experience. You just get to kind of like participate in other people's happiness, even if you're like, I'm just here to dance, I think. I feel like that's the greatest energy to walk into the unknown with. But this message is very precise about these characters have to do the brave thing. If either one of them taps out, they're never going to meet. So this is the only reason that it happens for them. Actually, I should be holding the Fool card, wherever the heck I buried that. This is what it takes, is two people who are brave enough to say, I don't expect much, but I think I should shake stuff up in my life. So I'm going to go ahead and do something out of the ordinary. I'll say yes when normally I would say no. I'll stay for a little while. I'll show up. it, that's what it takes. You got to show up in your own life. You got to show up and at least give things a try. Just like you got to taste different foods to know, how to expand your palate. Otherwise, you could live your whole life and never know the glory that is black licorice. I know that's a very polarizing comment. People love black licorice or hate it. There is nobody who feels in between about it. Or at least I've never met anybody who's like, oh, it's kind of okay. I only know people that are all in or all out. I am team black licorice all day long. Don't care about the red. But I have friends that are like, I can't even bear to smell it on you. And I do eat a lot of black licorice. So if you don't like molasses, you probably don't like my breath. We have the Wheel of Fortune here. This is the perfect time. This is doors are opening, gateways are opening. This whole message this entire time has been, if doors open, walk through them. If invitations show up, say yes. If there are opportunities, oh God, what's that song? Is it Minnie McCready? And if you get the chance to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. It's kind of like the universe is singing that song. These are your opportunities. Take every single one. This is a turning point in these characters' lives if they're brave enough to play. They're being invited to play the game of life, so hop on in. But it says that there's a promise of really good things to be had. Universe, do you have any other message for the two of them? Because this looks like he's very drawn to her almost from the first moment he sees her walk through that door. We have an Empress. Look, these two, if they have ever met, they will remember each other. Or it will be one of those things where they are not going to be able to stop thinking about each other, since we've got the Elephant here. Definitely having the Empress says, I don't know, I'm wondering, has he seen her somewhere before? And it's like it sparks a memory. Maybe it's been many years since these two have met. Maybe they met for a fleeting moment. Oh, so Action of Wands. Okay, I'm going to actually say this just took on a new dimension. I was going to wrap this story up, but now I can't. He specifically maybe has been attracted to her. Like, this could be they bumped into each other in a crowded grocery store, saw each other from, whatever, across the produce section. And there was an attraction. It was like, that's somebody I like that. I like what she is. I like what she's got. He may have seen her with her child, if she has a child, or seen her with a pet, or seen her with something, but he remembers like, wow, that was a freaking Empress. That the way she conducted herself, the gentleness, the sophistication, he liked that. So I do think that there is some recognition moment. Hang on. Ooh, King of Wands sideways. Yeah, at the time it was like, oh, she's hot. But it was also almost like if I could picture me being with somebody like that. I mean, I can't because I don't know her and I can't approach her. But this all says they have perhaps crossed paths, or he's seen her somewhere before. It might have been him noticing her, not vice versa. Just like he sees her again as she walks in the room. She's the one who's blindfolded. So I'm thinking she doesn't spot him. I'm thinking he's like, oh, damn, that person that I saw, months ago, didn't know who they were. I just saw her walk in the room. This definitely feels like there's a spark, because even whatever the first time was that he saw her, there was an attraction and a thought of like, I wouldn't mind being somebody's King of Wands if it was for somebody like that. We have the Devil in the reverse. This is not just like lust. This is not like obsession. This is not somebody who's got ill intents. This is somebody who like admired or appreciated her right out of the gate. Now, bear in mind, even as I say her and him, this could be same-sex couple, reverse gender roles, does not matter. Action of Swords. Well, he is not going to waste time this time around. He will be approaching her. She does not know. You notice that he's all cloaked in the fog here, but he's not going to waste a minute because he already saw her from afar, didn't make a move last time he bumped into her, whatever, in the grocery store, whatever the scenario was. This is his chance to see her a second time. And now it's like, well, I'm definitely going to go and approach. He may even say, I've seen you around. It may even be that like, you didn't notice me, but I noticed you. He could actually go ahead and reveal that. But we know she has not seen him. Not when he's still cloaked in the fog here. He has to make his approach known. 5 of Pentacles in the reverse. Now he's real glad he showed up. Now he's real glad because he doesn't feel lonely. And even though he doesn't know her yet, at least from what I can tell, there's a familiarity. And sometimes it's all it takes, right? I'll use this as an example. Sometimes, like, you can build like a rapport with a perfect stranger. Like this happened to me one time. I was in Rome and I was standing in line waiting. There was this very small church that had a small opera group performing. And of course, when in Rome, you must hear an opera. And I love opera music. And it was all my favorite arias. And so we were standing outside this small church and everyone was Italian except this one couple that happened to be directly in front of us. And they were from like Florida. And I've never been to Florida. I'm a West Coaster. Like, we really have nothing in common, right? But because we were, you know, there was like this, wow, like we're next door neighbors. And it was so ridiculous because in truth, like if we'd bumped into each other in the United States, it wouldn't have been any particular bond. But because we were both outside of, you know, our norm, now it seems like we have this bond. And the only reason I'm painting this picture is these two, he already feels like he's got this bond to her. It's not lonely now. He's not out in the cold. He's not here by himself anymore because he recognizes her from whatever, across the produce section a couple months ago. All of a sudden, there's a friendly face, even though they don't know each other, even though she maybe hasn't seen him. He has a reason to be there. He has an anchor now. He has a touchstone now. And I'm just describing it that way because, you know, sometimes even though it seems like ridiculous, it's like, well, there's no bond here. You haven't formed a bond. There's nothing there. It's just a little bit of like a little smidge of common ground. And all of a sudden, you know, there's like this fun vibe, at least on his part. 2 of Swords. She may not feel quite the same way, at least not at first. She could be a little bit confused. Who is this person? Is this friend or foe? Is this creeper or, you know, keeper? I don't know if that's a thing, creeper or keeper. I don't know. I don't know if that's like a thing, but if it's not, I've just coined the term. I have no idea. We've got the Hermit. We keep kind of seeing her like needing to come out of her shell, and she kind of wants to, even though we see a little bit of nervousness on her part. But I kind of think that you got to start any connection somewhere. Yes, he has the advantage. He's excited to bump into her again. She just doesn't have the same reference point for him. So for her, this is her getting pulled out of her shell a little bit and not knowing who is this person. But again, here's the luxury of the way this is playing out in this story. They seem to be meeting on like friendly turf, right? There's already maybe a bit of a vetting process because you must know somebody that invited you here. I know somebody that invited me here. So we must have some mutual acquaintances. So there's a little bit of vetting, and that might make her feel a little bit more like, okay, hang on. This isn't a perfect stranger. We must have mutual acquaintances. I can ask around at the party. Do you know the Emperor? It kind of feels like she's going to come out of her shell a little bit. Trans is human. Thank you, Angel. You are so generous. Thank you, love. You sweetheart. We've got the 6 of Swords in the reverse. This is uncomfortable terrain for her. It really is. She's not like so at ease. I feel like this is somebody who's kind of a little bit stiff, a little bit awkward, not super comfortable. That to me, that makes perfect sense, right? She's not 100% sure. This might even feel like, oh my God, she's getting like whatever, sweat hives, stress hives going on over here. We got the Justice card. She's having a little bit of like flashbacks of, you know, maybe the last time she opened up to somebody and then got super disappointed. Is this, again, creeper or keeper? She might be thinking about a creeper. She might be thinking about somebody that didn't do right by her. It's a little unfortunate that there's kind of like that little alarm bell ringing for her and some unsavory memories that could be resurfacing. I could see her not wanting to open up too much, which again could give him the opportunity to like really show that he's an emperor, right? Emperors are not going to push. Emperors are going to look at this. We got the Emperor coming out. Okay. Sideways, admittedly. He doesn't want to approach her. She's going to be protective, maybe particularly protective, as like mama bear, mama cub kind of vibe comes up. But he's being like, whoa, okay, hang on. I know I'm an emperor. She doesn't yet. How do you approach anything that's new, anything that's wary? You meet them where they're at. I don't think he's going to try to force his dialogue or conversation. I feel like he's going to possibly like back off a little bit, let her choose to approach him later. It could even be like, well, hey, my cousin invited me. I don't know how many people you know here, but now at least you have a friendly face in the crowd. If you want to sit, I'm going to be over there. He may leave it open to her, because this says he like really goes like to half-mast and is like, she's kind of backing away from me just a little bit. Granted, it could just be her having, like I said, the flight or fight or flashbacks or something that make her wary. But we see him completely picking that up, saying she doesn't know that I'm an emperor. She doesn't know that I'm not somebody that would harm. So the best thing I can do is show that I mean no harm by giving her space, but also keeping a door open. But she can approach me. This probably a really great move on his part, especially because it could have freaked her out if he's going to be approaching her and she doesn't know. What do you mean? How do you know me? Where have you seen me? I could see that being like, whoa, alarm bells ringing, until she gets the full story. You can't help it if you've bumped into somebody, you've noticed them, you thought they were attractive, you see them again later on. It's a small world and we run in small circles. For as big as this globe is, strange things have happened. Multiple times in my life, I have bumped into people I should never have seen again. And so many bizarre things had to go just right for me to randomly be on the same plane with somebody that I knew 3 years ago, and we're going in different places and we're not in the same city. And, that kind of stuff happens. You look across an airport and you look at somebody and you go, holy shit, how did you end up here at the same time that I'm here? I haven't seen you in 5 years. I've had that happen to me before. So, those things happen. Bumping into somebody again. But the only disadvantage is he noticed her. She had never noticed him. So that's why there's this little bit of oddness on her part. So she's going to have to like maybe find her comfort zone. I think he's doing great though at like not freaking her out. Backing off and letting her, she needs to ask around about him first. And she's going to. We got the 10 of Pentacles. First thing she may do is go over and talk to somebody. So-and-so says that their cousin invited him. Do you know him? Do you know? Look at this. This is like multiple people getting involved. Like, oh, God, yeah, he's amazing. Oh, definitely go talk to him. This feels like there's a lot of support around her all of a sudden. That's awesome. If this is one of those situations where these two were supposed to meet, and we know that they were. We know that they both did something brave. They both are putting themselves out there a little bit, not necessarily with the intention of dating, but they're just attending some kind of an event. But this feels very serendipitous, and I would almost say like super meant to be, even right down to, he's come across as a very thoughtful divine masculine. He's come across as a great King of Wands. He's come across as, an honorable emperor. He's come across as somebody who can read the room and understand if somebody's uncomfortable. He's not like pushing, his agenda forward or anything like that. This is very much like meeting somebody where they're at. But he also now has a reason to stay instead of go home early like he'd intended. So all of this just says taking that first brave step to get out there and interact or attend invitations, participate in life. And then the next step is when you start interacting with someone, obviously on his side, we could see him doing really well at being sensitive to, where somebody's comfort zone is, but navigating this could be immensely uncomfortable. It is for her at first, but navigating the step-by-step process of like actually conversing with somebody, getting to know a new person. Remember, that's actually what she's wanted. But this it's so, I think this is so relatable because Who hasn't felt like a fish out of water? Who hasn't said, man, I'd love to meet somebody, but oh my God, meeting new people and not knowing who to trust, especially if you've had a few bad runs in the past and, you know, you're on high alert and you're kind of like nervous that anybody could be, you know, someone that you don't want to let in your life because they can crash and burn your life. You know, I could see like what a relatable, like, how do you emerge as a single person on the dating scene? But this all feels like a pretty nice pre-vetted scenario as it turns out. So I don't know. I would just say that the biggest message here is take it one step at a time, but also you got to play to win. If you don't participate in life, you're not going to meet anybody. If you refuse to accept the invitations to go out and have a good time, you're not going to ever get a chance to meet that person. And it does look like this is an amazing emperor, and everything about the way they conducted themselves seems to be really, really pleasant, really calm. And it kind of looks like she's going to get some serious reassurance with that 10 of Pentacles being that final card there. I definitely feel like this is the starting of something great for the two of them. All right, you guys, I am going to go ahead and leave this here. You guys, so great to see you. Bruce like Violets. Hi, sweetheart. You were so sweet. I'm sorry that I missed you this morning in the card pull session for this month, babe. Well, we will do it again next month, so don't worry, you'll get other options. Hey, Small TV. And again, thank you so much, Trans is Human. You're so generous. Thank you, my love. Hi, Katie. Right back to you. The Red and Albert show. I know. People love black licorice or they hate it. There is no in between. It's like mayonnaise. I think mayonnaise is pretty polarizing for people too. Wet Lowo, hi, honey. Good to see you. The Sensitive Star, great to catch you. I love the dove there. Feeling My Soul, great to see you, love. Tack Ellis, hi. I haven't seen you in ages. Shout out to you in Australia. Hey, RT. Sage, you're home. High fives. Oh, Trina, great to catch you. Hello to you in Ghana. Thank you for being here. Lynn, Andrea. Hi, hun. All right. The night owls are here, huh? I know it did get really late all of a sudden, didn't it? Myra, hi, hun. You were first in the house tonight. Ginger Montague. Hi, Jacob. Shout out to you in Texas, hun. A Leo in Texas. Very nice. Hey, allegedly tarot. Legina Davis. Wonderful to see you. Wendy Mason, thank you for popping by. All right, you guys. I will see you tomorrow. I think I'm going to wrap it up, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Crochets. That's awesome. Black Butterfly 25. So nice to see you, honey. Have a great night. All right. Bye, guys. Sweet dreams, everybody. Or good morning, wherever in the world you may be. Bye for now.